Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now David Haye was asked, how much trouble will Oleksandr Usyk cause Anthony Joshua? And this was his response. Not much. If AJ decides to have a tit-for-tat boxing match, then he'd have some trouble, but he's not stupid enough to do that. It's going to be pretty devastating. So there we go, that is what David Haye has explained about this fight between AJ and Usyk. He also said that once Anthony Joshua gets that jab flowing, he seems to be better in every department as a heavyweight. He did say in every department, but I'm guessing he means as a heavyweight because Usyk is a very good mover, has incredible footwork and is fast as well. I would say AJ is the far more explosive puncher of the two of them, but Usyk is fast and he puts his punches together extremely well, so by no means is this going to be a walkover job, but David Haye seems to believe that he isn't really going to pose too many threats to Anthony Joshua. Joshua is too big, too strong, too powerful, and his jab will be able to keep Usyk on the outside and control him. Now, what Usyk does is he often does start quite slowly and builds into the contest, so essentially he's downloading data and looking at what might work, what might not. Obviously he has done his studying in the build-up during training camps, but it's always different in the ring with that type of opponent. So he'll take a round here and there just to kind of warm into the contest. Now, some would say that AJ needs to step on it and get to him before he is able to essentially download that data and build into the contest, but I don't necessarily believe that AJ has to go gun-ho from round 1-2 and try and get rid of him early. I don't think that he'll do that. I think that that could possibly play into Usyk's hands because if he can survive those rounds, he isn't someone who's going to get tired, so he can come on strong in the mid to late rounds. So I don't think AJ will be ragged enough to go and do that. The game plan will be very specific. Rob McCracken has now joined back up with Anthony Joshua, so they will be working on things here and there, getting the right sparring partners. That was one thing that was extremely important on the mind of Rob McCracken because he did say that it's important to get the right southpaw sparring partners in preparation for Usyk, which isn't always easy to do, especially when there is an elite level fighter as the opponent. I mean, who can replicate Usyk's style? No one can, because there is no one else like him in the heavyweight division. There are similar styles, there are similar opponents who have maybe one trait that Usyk is good at, but then Anthony Joshua has to find the right sparring partners to replicate a different part of Usyk's game, so therefore he will bring in many of them. We know that there are some good southpaws that were also there for the Derek Chisora training camp as he prepared for Oleksandr Usyk. So there is that there as well. Usyk has fought in the UK against Tony Bellew and against Derek Chisora, so there is something to go on. There is a way in which Anthony Joshua can gauge him based off of what he has seen in the past, but AJ is a different kind of opponent, and that doesn't just represent a challenge for Usyk to try and overcome that. What it also means is Anthony Joshua cannot expect the same Usyk from the Tony Bellew fight and from the Derek Chisora fight, because you can look at it one way. You can say that, okay, it's tough for Usyk because he has to find this new game plan, this new style that will work against AJ, because this isn't a fighter he's faced before. He hasn't really been in the ring with someone like AJ. So he has to overcome those obstacles, but Anthony Joshua also has to anticipate the moves he will make in doing that. So he will be getting a different Usyk to what we have seen before, subtly different, little changes here and there. So Anthony Joshua can do his homework on Usyk, but he cannot anticipate what game plan and what Usyk is going to do when he gets in the ring, whether he is going to start slow and try and build his way in, or maybe this time around Usyk starts fast and tries to put it on AJ, apply the pressure, not allow him to get that jab flowing, because that was one thing that David Haye did explain. Once AJ gets that jab flowing and finds a home for it, then he can start working on different things. He can start building into those combination punches, the uppercut as well. He starts to become more comfortable when he finds a home for that jab, he can start throwing different punches and varying them as well, putting them together, making it very difficult for Usyk then to establish a foothold. So maybe in that, Usyk decides, okay, I'm not going to let him get to that point, so I'm going to break up his work before he gets that jab flowing. That being said, does Usyk represent a challenge? Is it going to be difficult? Does he represent any kind of trouble for Anthony Joshua? David Haye seems to believe that AJ is going to end it with a left cross, or by spinning that jab into a hook. He said he saw it in his head how it was going to play out. Now, this is boxing at elite level in the heavyweight division, so anything can happen. I mean, we could get a fight that goes 12 rounds, we could get one that goes 10, 11 rounds, we could get a fight that goes 1 round. You never know in this blue ribbon division. So Anthony Joshua could land early, Usyk could land early, although I don't think that Usyk has the power to trouble Anthony Joshua, at least with one single shot. I might be wrong, but I just don't see it. I don't think we've seen anything from Usyk that demonstrates he's an explosive power puncher. He's more of a fighter who puts his punches together and stops his opponents as they get tired through accumulation, not one big shot and it's all over. We've seen that from AJ, he's a bit different. He is the far more explosive fighter in this contest. So in that, does it mean AJ early and Usyk late? Again, not necessarily, because Anthony Joshua at 17 stone seems to be able to compete going through into the championship rounds, and he doesn't really get tired. We saw that in the Pulev fight and in the Andy Ruiz Jr. fight. I mean, I know he got a little bit tired in the Pulev fight, but he did put a lot into that 3rd round, and he did regroup and recover, also able to keep that jab flowing and control Pulev despite having the tank a little bit emptier than it would have been if he didn't put a lot into that round. So he was able to maintain the control that he had in the contest and dictate the pace and the distance the fight was being fought at, something of which I suspect Anthony Joshua will also do against Usyk. He will control him, tame him, get his respect, make him realise this is the heavyweight division and you're fighting the big boys now, not someone you can just come in here and bully with your fancy footwork and your movement. That won't necessarily get you the victory in this one. You're going to need more. So I don't think it's going to be a walkover job. It's not going to be easy. Usyk does represent a challenge, but I believe once AJ does get that jab flowing and finds his rhythm, it is going to be very difficult for Oleksandr Usyk to establish a foothold in this contest. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.